Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us again today. And today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be covering a art lesson, one that I give out to my youngest students, and it's actually something that's really fun to do. They all seem to enjoy it. It is something called OP art, also known as optical illusion art, and this is a great example of a line and how line can be used to create artwork. And line, as we know, is one of the 7 elements of art. And this is a lesson that I give to my younger students to introduce them to line and how line can be used. The images that you see before you right now, these are images that we can actually create, and it's very easy. This is what the lesson is going to be going over. They are easy to create and actually pretty fun. So what do we need to do? What do we need in order to make this artwork? Well, first off, you need a ruler. Now, this is optional, but I would highly recommend having a ruler simply because it's going to make your optical illusion art look more like an optical illusion and less like, well, a child drew it. You're going to need a pencil, and this doesn't matter if you have an art pencil or a regular pencil. In fact, you can even use a mechanical pencil if you want. I probably am going to end up using a pen simply because a pen is much easier to see on the camera than a pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and start. The first thing that we want to do is to trace your hand. And if you're wearing any kind of jewelry, I would highly recommend that you remove that because it's going to obstruct your artwork. So first thing you do, lay your hand down and trace over your hand. All my students always love when they get to trace, and sadly, they are always disappointed because I do not let them trace ever. This is the only time when I let my students trace. So we have a outline of your hand. Next, what you need to do, get your ruler, and I would highly recommend that you take your marks every ½ inch, because if you do them every inch, it's not going to give the illusion that your hand is behind the lines. And what I mean by the marks, we are going to make tick marks on the left side and the right side of your artwork at every quarter or every ½ inch. If you want to do every quarter inch, which is actually the middle line in between, you can, but I just tell my students to do every ½ inch. So a ½ inch comes in between the 0 or the empty spot on your ruler and the 1, so it's actually right here. So every ½ inch, which would be 0.5 inches, would be 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and start that, and I'm going to make sure that my ruler is lined up at the top of my paper at the 0, and I'm going to make a line at ½ 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. And I'm going to keep doing this until I have all my tick marks on both sides of the paper. So I have them on the left. Now I'm going to go over and I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the right. So now that we have our tick marks on both the left-hand side and the right-hand side, what we're going to do, we are going to connect the lines together using the ruler. And you want to draw a line straight across until you get to your hand. And I will explain what we do after that whenever we get there. So draw a line straight through, connecting the lines together. And right here, I'm about ready to pass over the outline of my finger. So what I want to do, I want to draw a line to my finger, pick up my pencil or pen, move over to the edge of my finger again, and then continue my line over. So I'm actually skipping over my finger. And then we continue on and do that for the remainder of the hand. So every time we intersect the hand, we pick up, we go over, and then we continue the line. Same thing there. Go over, continue the line, and continue the line again. And then you continue to do that for the rest of the paper. Okay, and now we have all of our lines finished. What we do at this point, all of the lines that we actually skipped over with our hand, we are going to now connect these lines, but we're not going to draw a straight line across. Instead, what we're going to do, we're going to take our line and we're going to curve it up and around. So we're going to make a curved line like that. And we're going to do that and connect all the lines together that we skipped over. We're going to do that through our entire hand. Now the only exception to where you're going to make one solid curved line is if you have a line that lands right across your knuckles. Because your knuckles, they actually curve up and over like that. The rest of your hand is pretty straightforward. It's just one curved line. But your knuckles, that's the only exception. The rest of your hand, though, is going to be one solid line. So when we get to the knuckles, I'm going to show you what we need to do. But basically, just curve your lines up. And make sure they're all connecting together. Now, for the knuckle, right here, I'm going to curve my line up because that's the way the knuckle lands. I'm going to curve it up, bring it down, and curve it up on this one, and then curve it up on this one, and meet the line there. And this knuckle down here, I'm going to curve it around this finger, and then actually it kind of evens out, and I can just bring it on down. And the same with this. Now we can just start curving these lines again. That your hand is actually under these lines. Now if you were having a pencil and you were using that, you can go ahead and erase the outline of your hand. And then you could add in a little shadow like this. And that would give you even more of an illusion that your hand was resting behind the lines. But I do not have a pencil that I'm using. Well, I have a pencil, it's right here. But I was using a pen because it shows up a lot easier on the camera than a pencil does. So, at this point, you just made your optical illusion. You can go in and color it, you can shade it, you can do whatever you want. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this art lesson on line and how you can use line to create an optical illusion very simply and easily. Thank you for inviting me back to show you another art lesson. Thank you very much.